Solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Ever wanted a career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Berisha! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Farias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Well, we may not have emerged victorious from the battle on Tuesday night, but here in the Green Room, powered by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder, we're turning all our attention to winning the war and getting things back underway and back on track in that second leg coming up against Melbourne Victory this Saturday. Josh Parrish and Lachie Flanagan here with you tonight to talk with a real host of guests. Josh, obviously, we've got one eye on that second leg, on turning things around for the boys in green and black, but we're not just staying on the pitch. We're going off the pitch. We're going towards the training precinct as well. It's an exciting night we've got in store.
We're not just going off the pitch, Lachie. We're going to the top of the food chain.
Right, to the very top, as Harry Redknapp once said about Frank Lampard. Well, let's go straight to the top already. We'll talk more about all the guests who are coming on soon, but we've got one in the Zoom room ready to go tonight, and I'm talking about none other than the chairman of Western United and the Western Melbourne Group, Jason Sourasis, who joins us now. Jason, a very warm welcome to you. Great to have you on the Green Room.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Lachie, and thanks for the lovely welcome. Very flattered.
Absolutely our pleasure. Of course, you know, we could talk about the most recent result in the first leg of the semi-final against Victory, but I think we might leave the on-field stuff to Chris Pehlivanis when he joins us later on in the program, because the reason we've been hunting you down to join us on the Green Room, because you are the man with, in literal and figurative terms, the master plan when it comes to Western United. We haven't had you on since, or haven't been able to get you on since the announcement of the training precinct going underway. You must be so rapt to be part of this football club towards the pointy end when things are just, from the seemings of things, going so well both on and off the pitch at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, that's for sure. And your show just seems to always angle to Chris Pehlivanis, and he doesn't share with me, so I have to fight to get onto your show.
That's not our. I just want to make it clear that's not our directive. You got to take that up with CP.
Oh, I will. I definitely will. So, but anyway, it's good. We're meant to be on the show. But yeah, it's been a journey. Again, the football club, I suppose, is a forward-facing first live sport asset we've got. But it's been such a power of work going behind the scenes to get our precinct ready, and it's in effect the city centre of Wyndham. So there's a lot of planning, a lot of work with Wyndham, and ultimately there's a process before we could even speak about it publicly, like I have been, I suppose, over the last month. And that process was in effect getting the state government to approve the master plan, which it's all happened relatively quickly. So that was Feb. We found out about it. I was actually late January. We found out about it the second week of Feb. Then Wyndham, did a really awesome, press release on site a few weeks ago, and then from then we can actually tell the story and start telling the world about the journey and what the plans are from here. And we're full steam ahead on building, starting with the training field, but the broader precinct as well, and the main stadium is underway.
Take us through some of that journey then, Jason. Rewind for us. What's involved in achieving this? Because everybody can talk and say they've got big plans, but actually executing something like this, there's a lot of organisational work that goes into it. There's a lot of red tape to get through. Rewind and give us a bit of a sense of that journey.
Yeah, well, and it's the first of its kind in the country. So it's the first public-private partnership in sport in the country, and they're actually quite common overseas. And my wife's from Milwaukee, and I always refer to the Milwaukee Bucks precinct. First of all, it's tribalism through geography, which is what we're about. If you're born in Milwaukee, you don't have any choice. You have to follow for the Milwaukee Bucks, and the whole city. It's sort of just activated with sport. It's just, and when the Bucks are playing, it's a 3-4 hour lead up. It's the anticipation to the game. The game's on. The whole city shuts to watch the game, and then there's a post game. Even after the event, the city's still buzzing from the game. So that tribalism and geographic tribalism we're trying to create is part of the narrative. And then I just moved into a house 2 weeks ago, and it was just one house, 500 square meters in a suburban Melbourne that has all electricity, water, gas, all the utilities that we need. And it was still 1.5 years over. So put that into our context. This is 500 square metre home. And put into context, we're doing a 150-acre town centre with Wyndham, and the land had no gas, no water, no electricity. It was zoned rural, and we had a vision, but then you've got to go through getting a piece of land ready for development to, in effect, to be able to hold a stadium and commercial buildings and a training facility and 1,000 residential lots. So that process, it's been about 3.5 years, which sounds like a long process, but for the enormity of the project, it's actually really quick, and it's in effect been fast-tracked by Wyndham. The state government, also, fast-tracked that planning process, even though it took a bit longer than we'd hoped, to get that approved by the state government in that 7-8 month window we were wrapped with. And ultimately, we've got to put the roads and the services to the site, but we've got master plan approval for everything we want to do, and now we're full steam ahead.
I mean, I'm really interested to touch on the Milwaukee Bucks aspect of this, because the people responsible, correct me if I'm wrong, who were responsible for designing that stadium were also involved in the sort of conception of the Western United Stadium plans as well?
Yeah, so that was designed by Populous, who just probably at the lead of designs around the world for a lot of stadiums. So yeah, they did do the Milwaukee Bucks Stadium, and with the precinct, it's built into the community. So you I still remember getting off. We didn't catch a train, but people getting off a train, going home. Some were going to work. We were just at a restaurant, and you walk around a corner and you go, "Wow, the stadium's here." You didn't realise it was that close to where the city was, and it was just built into the city. So there was just you couldn't not get into it. You couldn't not watch it. You could not know the event was on. And ultimately, that's that sort of model around activating the community via sport, getting kids off the streets and giving them sport as their avenue to, I suppose, release energy and to focus on the good and that can come from playing sport. That's what it's going to be about. And Western United Football Club, I suppose, is the first franchise, but we've got ambitions to go into other codes under the Western United banner, and in effect make it the northwest of Victoria as our region and our tribalism that will come from that region.
I mean, everything you're saying with respect to that, Jason, is really music to my ears as like an avid football enjoyer, because I wouldn't necessarily use the example of Milwaukee Bucks, but like for me, I have family in Scotland and most specifically in Edinburgh, and you see, Hibs ground, for example, in Leith and I've literally had that experience you're referring to, where you can be walking through the streets of Leith and you're thinking, oh, what's that jutting bit of green metal stretching out over the road? And it's it's the stadium, and you have no idea. So to be able to create something like that in Victoria, especially when we've really got quite a distinct sporting precinct, like the MCG, Amy Park, they're great stadiums, but they're in their own little zone. They're not kind of hidden away in this kind of integrated area. So it must be such an exciting prospect for you to be able to deliver something that really is quite unique to the sporting landscape here in the country.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's the first of its kind in Australia, but quite common overseas. I think David Beckham's doing one in Miami as well. But even going back to your example, like most people, and I've travelled a fair bit around the world, and football's always a sport you can talk to with anyone, anywhere. But ultimately, you could be in, we're in Africa for the World Cup and bump into an English guy and he breaks for Leeds. Why does he break for Leeds? Because that's where his father was from, or that's where he was born. And that tribalism around and being passionate about your area, that's what the journey we're on. And it's a long game because I feel, I reckon the last time tribalism existed was when Victory was the only team in Victoria, and it was against Adelaide. They won that grand final 6-0, and he followed football, which we all do. We probably all supported Victory because it felt like Victoria versus South Australia, and we're all Victorian. So I felt like that's been lost a little bit. So the narrative that the APL's going to be pushing, and we're definitely pushing, is cities move to Casey. They're in the southeast. We're the northwest, and there's a facility getting built at Latrobe, which the natural fit would be for Victory to be, in the northeast. So, and then cut up Victoria, like I suppose the VFL, AFL used to be, where you had zones, and that's where tribalism comes from. So if you think of, my family are North Melbourne supporters, but why? When my grandfather immigrated and our family moved, they first lived in North Melbourne, and that was that. They couldn't speak the language, but sport was what connected them to Australia, and we live in North Melbourne, so we're passionate about North Melbourne, and 2-3 generations on, we're all North Melbourne supporters. So that vision around Western United, and I bump into so many people who they're from the West and they're like, we're Victory supporters, but you guys are doing good things and we want to come across. I don't expect them to come across. I'd like them to. But ultimately it's that longer term game, because any kid born in the green and black, we want them to know that's your region. It's our region. That's why you're behind Western United, and that passion that comes with A, football, but B, from the geography linked to where your football club is. That's the longer term game that we're living.
I just want to take note of Lachie saying something positive about Hibs.
I know I'm a Hearts fan. So it's very rare that I do that. Yeah, it's weird that I didn't go straight to Tynecastle. But anyway, I digress. The other thing, you've spoken, Jason, about all the different levers and actions that go into something like it's not a simple process by any stretch of the imagination, which I think everyone knows, but even then you don't really get the specifics and quite the level of depth that it goes to. You're only really scratching the surface. But it must help when you're trying to get things done, to lobby people, to make decisions, to have a team that is making such great headlines on the pitch this season. It can't hurt when you're trying to do those sorts of things, I imagine. Yeah,
absolutely. And even even last night, I'm so proud of the guys. Like the way we actually played really well, and it's 1-0 at half time. But if we play like that again, and we're going into, Victory's home ground, their home leg. But and I used the analogy the other day, it's going to be like 300 Spartans against, all the Persians. That's why we need all the green and black supporters there. But ultimately, it's sort of, it's a journey on and off the field. So going back to the property side, like getting land ready, like we're talking geo-testing, Indigenous overlay reports, flora and fauna, flooding. Like we've had that many consultants to get the site ready. And as a team, when I refer to Western Melbourne Group, Western United, there's a team on the property side that are full steam ahead. There's, even you guys know about the events we've had this week. We've had 5 events just for, our final season's function, and then a women's announcement, and then, our team's off the field, and then there's on the field. And on the field, they're doing us proud, and they're playing in a manner that, nothing's coming easy. We're fighting for it. We're structured. And that tenacity and resolve, I'm hoping still gets us through after Saturday night.
Well, we do have a lovely little slideshow of photos here, so I thought I'd give you the opportunity, Jason, to give us the latest updates on the training precinct and how the construction's actually going, because everyone likes to see some soil getting moved and some bulldozers actually in action.
Let's do it. So these were only taken last week, so they're and we're full steam ahead on the training precinct. So we had to for those who know the area, extend Leaks Road, and then the roads into the site, so that with council, we can get the training fields and the commercial land around it going. So I'll get you to show the slides now, but it's just beautiful, and you can actually see the turf and see the pitch. So they actually, and it's a big process to get, the quality pitches that we want in the elite training facilities at a standard that'll be A-League standard. And it's a long journey to get the grass to where we need to. So if you want to play are you playing the visuals now, or I just?
Yeah, they're rolling.
Oh, they're rolling, are they? I can't see them. So, so again, I'm not sure which ones you're looking at, but the works and the actual outlines of where the training pitches will be and where the club facilities will be is full steam ahead. So I think the public can still drive down there and have a look as well. But you're going to see a lot of starting with the training fields, and that's on track, and that's fast tracked. So we're hopeful that in 12 to 15 months that that elite training facility is ready, and in the background you'll be able to see the main stadium getting built. But as an alternative, as an option, is we're still looking for a place to play and call home, and the quicker we could have our own home, the better for us. So that 5,000 seat stadium, I'd love to just play in that little boutique stadium and pack it out and have 8,000 people trying to get into it, whilst our main stadium is getting built in the background.
So this will be. The plan is this will be the temporary home of the team while the main stadium's getting built. That's big.
Yeah, that's what we're working towards. So, because ultimately, and you guys are football people. Like, to have passion, you need to be close to the action. You need a rectangular stadium, and the fans are everything. So I'd rather, and no disrespect to where we played, but instead of a 40,000 AFL oval stadium that's got 5,000 people in it, I'd rather pack out a 5,000 rectangular stadium that's ours, that's in the West, and not have to move to all these different venues that we move to. So, that's the aim. So we're fast tracking that and hopeful to have it, if not by the end of next season, definitely the season after.
Oh, and the other great element about all of this that we saw come out of the finals luncheon last week is that when the precinct is finished and we do get the chance to sort of play the home games there, it's not just going to be the senior men's, it's not just going to be the academy side, it's going to be the A-League women's team as well taking the field. That must be for everyone involved in the club, such a fantastic thing to get over the line. We know it's been in the works for a while, but to have it signed, sealed, delivered, and out there in the public, you must be wrapped.
We're wrapped, relieved, because Chris and I, and Amanda, but mainly Chris and I, have just been pushing the APL, and I think Danny, I don't know if you're at the function, but Danny Townsend was like, Jason, Chris been busting our balls and ringing us every week, and we were. He wasn't joking. So it was sort of, and it was just getting the official stamp of approval. Like, we knew it was coming, and we're just wrapped because it's part of our strategy. Like, we're fortunate. I've got another business that manages a lot of athletes, and the women's game is just globally growing, and the standard is growing so quickly. And we want to be part of that. And the partnership with Calder, arguably one of the best elite pathways, from under-8 girls all the way through. They've won, every title, a lot of titles in the last few years, but ultimately the partnership with them, we've had that for 2 years. So we've been investing in the women's game and the community, from the day of our inception, because ultimately that's our path. And again, having, the 300, 400 girls at Calder, that's another supporter base. That's another Western United fan, that whole family. That's how we're going to grow, especially when you're a new franchise, and a new franchise that was born on the eve of a pandemic. We've had challenges and hurdles that, we're just sticking to our path, and we know what our path is, and it's boys, girls, aspiring to, play for our club and support our club, and give them an elite pathway, true elite pathway that makes them better, and hopefully has them playing for us one day, whether that's men's or ladies.
And the timing really couldn't be better for the women's team to be introduced next season, because it's the lead into a Women's World Cup, a home World Cup. Yeah. It frustrates me that you wouldn't even know it's on in Victoria. So it actually, really shits me. But we've got a Women's World Cup, third or fourth largest event in the world. And we'll have a W League team, and and we're not just putting a W League team up for the sake of it. We actually want to win the thing. So there's a club championship in Australia, which actually aggregates points for men's and women's. And by virtue of us being second or third this season, we're actually doing pretty well without the women's team. So we want to go pretty hard on the women's team next year, and just as a club,
just continue the success that we've had.
And the other thing about that partnership with Calder is it's not just a sort of method through which you can tap into a new set of fans, but it's also a pathway for juniors right up into that senior side. It feels like with the introduction of Western into the A-League Women's, with that top to bottom pathway, the commencement of the training precinct, the strength of the men's team, it feels like that long-term vision is really starting to fall into place for the club.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I've got 2 young girls as well, and they love the sport, and that's the reality of it. So, going back to my other story, like we manage that many athletes, and fortunate to have a couple of Matildas on our books. Steph Catley, who we manage at Hemisphere, that is part of the Matildas, in endorsement deals and her brand gets more than some of the AFL captains that we manage. So, globally, football, women's football particularly, is going through a growth trajectory that we need to be part of and we want to be part of. So hopefully my girls are playing for the Matildas one day, and hopefully my girls are. I get to travel to watch them all over the world because they're gonna make it. No pressure on them, obviously, but yeah, only 4 and 2, mind you. So just teaching them to kick the ball both feet at the moment.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the counter argument to all of the old nonsense that women's football isn't financially viable and we can't invest in it and make it as good as the men's side of things because it doesn't bring in as much revenue. That's just flat out not true anymore, is it?
I think it's actually the next 5 to 10 years. That's where you're going to see the growth. You're seeing it with Sam Kerr, who, one of the best players in the world. She's earning more than most AFL players. So from an earning perspective, it's just that in this country, unfortunately, that football doesn't get, the coverage and that it should, especially in this state, unfortunately. But ultimately, that it's a global game. So the ambitions to be elite in Australia, and we need to drive it as owners of the leagues and owners of the teams. But you want boys and girls. I want them all to have that vision to be the best in the world and to play a sport that can take them around the world and get paid well for it. And ultimately, if you think of the TV viewership of the Women's World Cup last year, and I can't wait for this year because it's only going to improve because the standard's improving and more of the world's aware of the women's game now. That more eyeballs equals more revenue, which equals more, and rightfully so, more wages for women that, will continue to grow. And Australia's got some of the best players in the world. Well,
Well, Jason, to hear all of this stuff it's invigorating at every level of the club. Every different facet is really exciting. Well, one final one for you before we let you go. We know there's so many different elements working in, but what's the single thing, if you had to pick, that excites you the most for Western United over the next few years?
As a group or on the field? What are you thinking? Are you thinking football or are you thinking just as a broader group?
Let's go as a group. As a group,
I just can't wait to be in our home in the West, because you know what, we've got clicked over 9,000 members. We've got such loyal fans already, and our big part of our strategy is the community and being in the community. And for the first 2.5 years, we couldn't be in the community. Going into every school in the Northwest, going to football clubs and actually working with them, instead of just trying to, take the best players and develop them, actually work with them so it goes both ways and get them behind our club and actually have a true region that is ours and actually invest back into that region and actually have, the longer term game of having, those kids and parents and families actually coming across to support the green and black, which has been difficult because we're moving around so much, being difficult because we couldn't be in the community. And, all that's changing now. In 12 months, 15 months worst case. So it's not the next season will be the season after, albeit it's starting with a 5,000 seat stadium until our main stadium's ready. We'll be in our own home, our own facility. We'll pack it out. We'll make noise. So that's what excites me the most. So I think we're playing. We've been finals 2 of our 3 seasons, and ultimately we're a new chat. We're writing our own journey. We're writing our own, I suppose, path and. The reality is we want to be a successful club, and 2 out of 3 seasons to make finals with all the hurdles that we've gone through. When you actually achieve something, when there's so many haters and there's so many people thinking you won't actually achieve it, it just makes it sweeter. So I actually just can't wait for our club to continue to grow, but actually do it in a region that's going to be the heartland and the town centre of Wyndham, the heartland of the West, and keep growing our supporter base, our teams, our franchises, and and actually make the northwest of Victoria the green and black territory.
It reminds me of that famous Ange Postecoglou line that's doing the rounds, that his favourite bit is when everybody's doubting him. And that's the phase that Western United have been in, but slowly but surely, I should say, proving those doubters wrong. Jason, the bar has been set for CP, I have to say. Thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck on the weekend, but more importantly, best of luck with carrying out this long-term vision for the club. Thanks
a lot, guys, and thanks for the support, and love your show.
Thanks, Jason. We're going to go to a short break. We've got Nikolai Topor-Stanley joining us on the other side.
Ever wanted a career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Berisha! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Parias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamanti again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
We're back here on The Green Room for Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder, and we're joined by another exciting guest, the defensive general that he has been all season for the Western United Football Club, Nikolai Topor-Stanley. Unfortunately, not able to take the field at the moment, but he had a great seat to the action in the first leg of the semi-final against Melbourne Victory, and he joins Josh and I now. Nikolai Topor-Stanley, welcome back to The Green Room. First things first, how are you feeling, mate? How are you feeling? How's the body?
Look, I'm feeling okay. Clearly disappointed that, I've injured myself at a key time in the season, but, this is, I guess, the life I've chosen, and I've had a fairly good run, to say the least. So, I guess it's caught up with me. Just the chance of injury has caught up with me.
Oh, it's a very philosophical way to look at things, mate. I think that's the way you sort of manage your career, never too high, never too low, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to keep it that way as best you can, and I guess I accepted the fact that me playing again this season is going to be a long shot, but I'm still giving myself a big opportunity and doing everything I can to hopefully get up for a grand final. But I'm under no illusions it's going to be a very difficult ask.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the boys had that 1-0 result against Victory on Tuesday night in your absence. But despite that, you know, it was a worldie pretty much from Jake Brimmer. That was the only way that Victory were able to find the breakthrough in the game. Despite you not being involved as a part of that back four, you must have been pretty pleased with how the defensive unit went in your absence.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was actually a really great performance from the boys, and you're right. It took a world-class goal. You put that goal in any league in the world, and it's, you know, a cracker to separate us. You know, it was fairly even, and I think, you know, especially in the first half, we stifled them, and they, you know, unfortunately, we couldn't really capitalise on I guess that dominance with a goal. Which, but yeah, I mean, in the end, that was the difference between us losing, which is unfortunate. But you know, we've got another opportunity on Saturday, and you know, we know that we've got it in us to beat them.
Yeah, and you had a pretty strong penalty shout as well. I won't ask you to comment which way or the other, but we certainly heard what your head coach thought of that decision. What do you think of these two-legged ties? You know, playing against Melbourne Victory, we know it's a big rivalry there. I personally love the drama of these two matches and getting the pressure games, the most exciting games of the season, just getting more of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as a negative, right? It's more football. It's it creates more story, it creates more drama, and over two legs. And yeah, I mean, it would. There's no real negative in my eyes. So you know, look forward to Saturday, and I guess there'll be a fair pressure build up on Victory. You know, that they've got everything to lose now, and you know, we've got everything to gain. Do you think that suits the mentality of this Western United squad to be the underdog, to play spoiler, so to speak? I guess so. I mean, no one gave us a chance, you know, before the season started. You know, even I can remember talking to someone who shall remain nameless, but he's a prominent player in the A-League, possibly in Melbourne, and you know, when I told him that I had signed for Western United, he was like, "Oh, you know, that's no competition." And I said, "All right, well, we'll see come the end of the season, and you know, we'll see if I can jam those words down your throat." And you know, I'm hoping that I can still do that, and albeit in the grand final.
And you know what my favourite part about you bringing that up is, Nikolai, because all three Victorian clubs have been so strong this season, we can't even narrow it down to a single club with a list of 22. I'm
rattling through the names in my head.
We are none the wiser. So you've done an excellent job there to
protect your source,
to keep that one under wraps. So very much appreciative. But yeah, look, it's an interesting one. As you said, not a lot of people have necessarily gave Western a chance or a look in at this kind of thing at the start of the season. But here you are, you know, one game to sort of turn it around and book your spot in the grand final. We've seen some awesome celebrations after big results this season in the change rooms, you know, big singing of the song and all that sort of stuff, some great social media videos, not least the win over, you know, results over City and things like that. What kind of level would those celebrations rise to if the boys were able to turn around the aggregate result this Saturday?
It'll be fairly noisy. I'm sure numerous drink bottles thrown around the place with lids half on. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the culture that I guess I've walked into and, you know, I'm trying to maintain is that of camaraderie, of celebrating every success, because, you know, I've been in teams where that doesn't come every week, you know, and you have to appreciate it when it comes, because the nature of sport, it's cyclical, you know. You can see that with the best teams in the world in Barcelona, Man United for a great example, that, you know, they had their time at world dominance and now not so much. So you, regardless of resources, regardless of personnel, you know, you really have to, you know, celebrate the wins. And you have to hold them dear because that's what we play for. We play to win the game and hopefully entertain a few people along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, did you have any, or do you have any words of wisdom for some of your less experienced teammates about managing the pressure of playing in these sorts of games?
Look, it doesn't come from me. This is definitely a message that has filtered down from the coaching staff, and it hasn't started just now. It's been all season that we prepare ourselves to the nth degree in everything that we do. That starts from day one in training, and that will reflect, over time in performances. So it's nothing. It's not like now we have to suddenly play a different way or find something extra, so to speak. We've been trying, to perform at 100% every game we play, and that starts in training. It doesn't just magically happen on the weekend. So. Every pre-game talk and rev up is, there's a few, slaps in the back and, one of those things, but it's all about staying calm in the moment and, letting our preparation translate into performances on the field. So, that's the only thing that we've reiterated all season. It's not just me.
And all of that preparation, on and off the pitch throughout the year, it doesn't just contribute or lead towards the team performances. It also makes a big difference in those sort of individual moments that can decide a game. And to that end, to go one game back to the final against Wellington, you must have been like in disbelief at some of the saves, in particular that one save that Jamie Young was able to pull off that's got the team or helped to get the team into the semi-final. I think John Aloisi described it as a Banksian save at the full-time whistle. Would you be willing to go down a similar route?
Oh, absolutely. But, it's nothing that I haven't seen him do all season. He's pulled off incredible saves all year, and he does them in training all the time. So I'm not surprised at all, because he's not only is he an experienced pro, but he's a very hard trainer. He turns up every day, not just putting himself through the paces. He pushes himself to get better and better every week. So, I must admit, I thought he was no chance because I was right behind the header, and it was a bullet header too. But somehow he's just plucked it out. And but yeah, it's almost come the norm with Youngie, right? He's every couple of games he's pulling off worldies. So, I'm very pleased for the team that, he's in our goal and we're not trying to put one past him. And yeah, we'll let him do his stuff on Saturday.
Well, speaking of big saves, Saturday does bring with it the possibility of a penalty shootout, and all the more likely given the away goals rule has now been abolished. So has penalties been mentioned or even practiced in training? Is that something that you think about, or is it just something that if it happens on the day, everyone just steps up because you just can't replicate the pressure?
I'm sure it'll be brought up well beforehand. Our coaching staff don't like to leave things for the day, and everything will be thought of from the most minute detail.
And you've got a certain member of the coaching staff who did take a pretty high profile penalty kick once upon a time.
Yeah, we're actually talking about that. I think on Tuesday night in the change room that apparently he's had over 100,000 people tell him that he's been at the game or at the game. There were only 50,000 people actually at the game. So they'll definitely have everything thought of, and put the boys to their paces with that.
Well, we know you're a pretty cool, calm and sort of collected character when you're on the pitch. But if it did come to a penalty spot kick kind of situation, and you're sitting there on on the sidelines watching on. How are you going to be watching that? Are you going to be, your usual, sort of relaxed, stoic self, or is it going to be sort of watching through one eye, shirt over the head? Are you going to be like sort of taking the penalties as you're seeing them come through, just like that connected to it? What's
Some
the
people have
approach going to be like?
superstitions where they have to face away while they're inside taking penalties and things like that.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not a great spectator of my own team. I found that out the hard way. My heart rate was definitely very, very high, and I could feel my own pulse through my neck against the Wellington game in that last kind of 5-10 minutes where they were putting us under the pump there. So look, I'm not sure what I'll be like, but I'll be pretty nervous. I was talking to Steve Listicky on Tuesday about it, that when you're involved in the game, you have your process and it's familiar. You have your, I guess, your process of dealing with that high pressure moment, and it's something that comes a bit more natural to me than watching a game that I want to be involved in, but I can't do anything about it. So yeah, I'm sure the heart rate will get up, and I may sweat a few bullets there.
I'm getting jittery just talking about it, to be honest.
I mean, that's a great point. Like, I don't think that's an answer, Nikolai, that I don't think a lot of people would have expected that. Maybe we've got to get, recruit someone from the Western United media team to just train a camera on you from a very long distance, a long zoom lens, to just get the NTS cam happening.
The watch along. Oh.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
I think that would be torture for him, but great entertainment for us.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In the meantime, we've got to get...
Please don't, because I might let out a few expletives.
Well, this is the thing. If it's a very long lens, it's just the vision. There's no audio. You'll never know.
I don't think you'll need to be a lip reader.
Don't stress, Nikolai. You can save the stressing for game day and when the actual result happens. We don't know what's going to happen on Saturday, but we know you'll be there with your high heart rate watching on, and we wish you all the best in your recovery from injury, because hopefully at the full time of that game and into the game that goes after it, we're seeing a number 44 for green and black on the team sheet. But until that point, Nikolai, as always, thank you very much for your time. And like we said, all the best in the injury recovery.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, we're going to take another quick break. On the other side, we've got Chris Pehlivanis to join us. So still more to come here on a very big episode of The Green Room. Don't you dare go anywhere.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Ever wanted a career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website, dkpco.com.au, or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Parias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
The big hitters keep rolling through here on The Green Room, powered by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. From one great figure of this club in stature to another great figure, the CEO, Chris Pehlivanis, joining us now, who, I might add, was accused at the start of this show by our chairman, Jason Sourasis, of hogging the the official board kind of media time on this program. Chris Pehlivanis, a warm welcome to you. How do you respond to those allegations from Jason?
He said I was hogging it. We're at 7:48. I was told I was coming on at 7:25, so I'm not sure who was hogging it.
Maybe his argument would that he was making. Maybe his argument would be that he was making the most of his one appearance so far on the show. That would be maybe his argument, not mine necessarily.
He's a hard man to catch. He's a very busy man. I think we heard him earlier today, and everything he's working on. He's quite busy, but let's get him on at least 2-3 times next season. We'll hold him to that.
Absolutely. Now, I think what requires some explanation, if you're watching on the live stream, just for the benefit of the podcast listeners, Chris has got some green and black balloons behind him. What's going on here?
That's from the function last night, and my little son decided that would be a great backdrop. So I wasn't going to go against his will, so I'll let him run the show.
Good as. So we appreciate the set decoration. We love that. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the game. Obviously, a big second leg coming up, but also the function you put on that night, which was by all reports very well received.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the game first up. I think the boys put an exceptional shift in. It was challenging. We had to back up after 2.5 days. The boys, in my opinion, deserve more out of the game. I think we were unlucky on a penalty shout. I think the football world's spoken. I think everyone's seen that. There's no need for me to add any more to that. But, it's just frustrating from a club point of view when you see penalties given against us in Ballarat for Ben Garucho doing something similar. And this is, in my opinion, a lot worse, and nothing's been done. But look, that's football. These things happen. Big clubs, small clubs, the flavours usually go with the big clubs, and we saw that again. But you know what? Our boys are resilient. We've been 2-0 down to Melbourne Victory before in the past. This time we're only 1-0 down and it's half time. So bring on Saturday. And this club, this group has a special resilience, a special togetherness, a special bond that we have a never say die attitude. And I know we're going to rock up on Saturday and put on a show, and we've got this.
I mean, it's a great point that you make, Chris. I mean, admittedly, most of these have been in a single 90 minutes, but we have seen over the stretch games between Western United and Melbourne Victory. We've seen the Western, come back from behind and pull off some incredible results a few times before, have we not?
Yeah, it's in our DNA. It's something that our club fights hard for. We never give up. That's because we're from the West. We have a strong culture, a strong bond, and I see it in the players' eyes, I see it in the coaches' eyes. There's a real resilience, and even all the staff have worked tirelessly over the last couple of weeks to get to this stage, let alone all season. And I know that on Saturday we'll see the best version of Western United.
Well, speaking of that resilience as well, the other thing that's been a factor for the club throughout this final series is, a few injuries here and there and some pretty prominent absentees, not least, the man who we just had on before you in the form of Nikolai Topor-Stanley. But to that end, you must be really pleased with how some of these sort of fresher players who have maybe played less minutes or are returning from injury themselves, like Josh Risdon, for example, have come into this side as they did last night against Victory and done such an impressive job. I mean, Josh in particular, I thought was outstanding across his 90 minutes last night.
Yeah, I think we have a squad for a reason. And the reason we have a squad is to call on those guys when needed. It's extremely disappointing that we have some injuries at this time of the season because those boys deserve to be playing finals football. We didn't get anything given to us. We achieved everything through hard work, through determination and through working to process and structure all season. And, some things you can't control are injuries, and unfortunately they've come for us at the wrong time of the season. But that gives people opportunity. That gives, the future stars or other players opportunities to make a name for themselves at the pointy end of the season. And, it's going to happen for Western United, I'm sure.
I was speaking to Nikolai before, and I raised the point that this side tends to thrive backs against the wall when they are doubted, when they are underdogs, when they are in a tight spot. It seems to be when you see the best of this team. And, 1-0 down to Victory going into a second leg in front of a hostile atmosphere, that's the time that this group seems to thrive.
Yeah, definitely, because, we're a club on a journey, and I think Jason touched on it before. We're going to, this is all a journey for us to get to having our own hostile environment a couple of years. At the moment, we've achieved things that no one else in this competition thought we would achieve. And that's, we travel to play in games in more stadiums than anyone in the A-League history. And that creates a big, it creates a big foundation and a big willpower to go to, when you're challenged to go harder. And I think ultimately this holds us in good stead for Saturday night. And I know that's not going to phase our players. Actually, it's going to drive them and it's going to give them extra motivation to perform on Saturday night and get the result we need and hopefully achieve our first ever grand final.
Yeah, well, that variety of stadiums really does make a big impact over the course of the regular season with the travel and all that sort of stuff. But, right before the end of the season, you guys were, of course, in Tasmania, but to have had the sort of last two games and the one upcoming and potentially even the game after that too, to be at Amy Park, a rectangular ground where we know your fans turn out and make a good noise, that must give a real boost to the playing side as well.
Definitely it does, but again, they deserve it. They finished third on the leader. No one gave us opportunity. If you don't finish in the top couple of spots, you don't get the ability to play. And, credit to the other Victorian teams too. They've also had good seasons, and that's why, all the majority of finals are going to be in Victoria. I think all but one or two finals will be in Victoria, which shows football in this state's in a really good spot at the moment.
Does that help build the rivalry between the two clubs when you're playing these big fixtures against each other and you're all competing for top honours?
Yeah, I think it does. I think over history of all codes and all sports, there's some moments where rivalries are born. It doesn't just happen. And Saturday night might be that catalyst. It might be the moment we come back and have one of the greatest victories in our club's history that sets us up and creates that rivalry that no one will forget. And everyone will remember the moment I was there when Western United went into the grand final. So, that's why I'm encouraging all our fans to be there on Saturday night. We want them all to sit in bays 14 and 15. We're going to be smaller. We know that. And we don't have to apologise about that because that's who we are. We're a club that's in its third year. Victoria, a club that's been there from the start and had first mover advantage. Of course they're going to be louder. Of course they're going to be bigger. But what we're going to be is united and we're going to all be together. And I think it's going to be a real powerful message to make sure all our fans are there filling bays 14 and 15. I know it might not be the most premium viewing area, but that's where we want all our fans to sit. And that's aisles 14 and 15 to ensure we're all together. Because that way, visually and, and not only visually, but it'll be symbolic for all our players to run out and see all our fans together. And I think that's something that we're working hard off the field. And for all our fans and members that are listening, please spread the word to all our Western United family, friends and members to make sure that when you're buying your tickets, that they're in aisles 14 and 15.
And that's where you want to be as a supporter. That's where you're going to have the best time, because you're going to be in with the green and black, and that's where the atmosphere is generated, right? And you talk about those moments where rivalry is born, and the touch points we come back to in the victory rivalry. The 2-0 down at Marvel Stadium, coming back to win 3-2 in the first game. The comeback win against Victory again at Marvel, I think it was 4-3, Victor Sanchez and Rude's running all the way down the touchline and jumping on top of the pile of players. And, this would surpass everything if the boys were able to turn this around and create another memorable moment, wouldn't it?
Of course it would, because what's at stake? This is our first ever spot in the grand final, in our third only season. I think people forget that, and we're trying to create our next chapter, and that would be the next chapter in our history. But, even if it's not, even if we don't get the result, what a season it's been. So many firsts. We finished our highest ever position on the table. We accumulated the most ever points. We had our biggest ever win, 6-0 against Perth. We gave debuts to 2 young players. We had our youngest ever scorer this season. We had our longest ever unbeaten run. Like the records keep reeling off, and I think sometimes you're in the moment, you forget about all these things. But ultimately, I could not be more proud of the work that everyone at the club's done. Even our new coach came into a club, that was arguably at its lowest point. We brought in, I think, 11 new players, and the results have been absolutely amazing, both on and off the field. So as CEO, I could not be more proud. And I'm excited. I'm pumped, because I want all our fans there on Saturday, and I can't wait, because this is why we do what we do. And this is, it's a journey we're on, and I want everyone there. And I really am imploring, all our fans to get out there, and, even all the neutral fans, jump on Western United, be part, don't be neutral, jump on the underdog, get there, support us, and let's have a go, and let's do something special. Look, I've got a little guest that wants to say a few words as well. He wants to pump everyone up as well.
Hey.
What are you going to say, Thomas? Where do you want all the fans to sit tonight this week?
Behind the goals.
And with who? The Western Service crew?
Yeah.
That's the best place to be.
Good.
That is the best place to be. I mean, even if you are a neutral fan, as you said, Chris, to be against, to barrack against Melbourne Victory is a more than good enough reason to be involved. But yeah, if you are going to be there as a Western United fan, make sure it is in bays 14 and 15. A final one for you, Chris, before we let you go, because you keep talking about how this result could help to build this rivalry between Victory. One of the best ways I reckon you could do that would be to pip them in a penalty shootout. And we asked what kind of viewer Nikolai Topor-Stanley would be of that sort of thing, and apparently a lot more nervous than we thought. What would you be like, emotionally, if it does get down to that sort of moment on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, I'll be a nervous wreck as well. I can't lie. I'd love to say that I'll be calm, cool and collected, but I'll be a nervous wreck because I know what's at stake, and I know, for our players and our staff and our members and fans what's at stake. And that's why you're a nervous wreck, because you care about all those people and you want the best for them. And so, there's a lot at stake, and we love what we do. We love being part of this club, and the passion's there. So if you're not nervous and you're not, and you're not enjoying it, you're probably in the wrong job. And that's why I love what I do, and I'm privileged. And I always say to people, I'm the luckiest person because I work for a great club and I love what I do. And it's easy to do what I do, but it is challenging. But what we're going to achieve on Saturday night, hopefully, is going to be something special, and I can't wait to get out there. I do have one more thing to say just before we wrap up, guys. Last week, we announced our A-League women's team at our grand final, our inaugural grand final lunch. Our inaugural finals lunch. That was one of my proudest moments as CEO of Western United. But not only that, it was one of our proudest moments as a club. And personally, I think one of my proudest moments in sport. To give the young girls of the West an opportunity to represent their club in future years. You know, we talk about leaving legacies. We talk about creating the next chapter. That's something we've done. I know people haven't realised that yet and the powerful message that's going to be. But now, you know, we're truly a club. Before that, we were just an A-League men's club. Now we're an A-League men's and women's club, and we've got an opportunity to give both boys and girls an opportunity to represent Western United and dream big, and why not represent their countries, or, you know, go further than that and represent go play in the big leagues in Europe. So we can do that now. I can't wait to the journey we're on with the girls coming forward next season. But watch this space, and, you know, we've been competitive in the A-League men's side, and I promise you we'll be competitive in the A-League women's side as well.
Well, I don't think we have any doubts about that
If there's one thing we've learned about Western United so far, it's ambition, right? So you want to make a splash in this competition, not there to make up the numbers.
Yep, definitely. That's our motive. You heard it from the chairman. That's the motive we've got at the board. And you know what? Everyone at that club has that desire, and we work hard. And I know everyone at the club works hard. I know there's a lot of tired people there, but they all do it with a smile, and they all work, come into work every day with the same ambition and the same desire to make this club one of the strongest club in Australia.
Chris, we're going to let you, Thomas, and your balloons go, but we're going to have to talk more about that in a future week. And maybe we'll have to get you and Jason on at the same time just to keep the peace, so we don't have this competitive rivalry boil over. But Chris, thank you very much as always.
Guys? We're going to come into studio together, and we'll have a bit of a banter together, because Jason is an amazing chairman, and he does a lot of work, but you got to listen to his passion, and it'll be good to get him in studio as well, and we'll get in there together, and we'll have a bit of fun.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, Josh and I could almost have the night off, give you guys the main microphones, and just
run the
grab the popcorn and watch the show. Pretty much, that would be excellent. Chris, I know your eyes are fully focused on this weekend, so we'll let you continue to stew over the game against Melbourne Victory this Saturday. You can get your tickets on Ticketek for the game against Victory, and make sure, if you are buying as a Western United fan, it is in bays 14 and 15. We're going to head to a break here on the Green Room, and we're going to go to one of those fans who you may well find in bays 14 and or 15 this weekend, Ben Jorgensen, to join us on the other side of the break here on the Green Room. So stick around.
Ever wanted a career in football? At the Global Institute of Sport, you can now study a master's degree in football business or football coaching and analysis right here in Australia. GIS is the largest provider of sports degrees in the UK, with campuses at Wembley and Etihad Stadium. Learn online with unique access to the iconic MCG and a big-hitting Australian industry network. Be one of the first Australians to get a football master's degree and join GIS's global network of football leaders. Apply now to start in February 2023. Learn more at gis.sport/FNR. That's gis.sport/FNR.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Well, given the possibility for this exact thing happening on Saturday night, Josh, how fitting it is that the Green Room tonight, powered by Simonds Homes, goes into extra time. But it is with very good reason. We've had some big guests join us, Jason Sourasis, Chris Pehlivanis, and Nikolai Topor-Stanley. If you've missed any of those chats, you'll be able to catch them up on the FNR podcast platforms, wherever you get your podcast at the end of the show. But we've got to turn all our attention to the game this weekend and the people who will be there. And one of those people is none other than Ben Jorgensen, super fan of Western United Football Club, who joins us now. Ben, before we even, I know I said both eyes on the game, but my eyes are currently distracted by the very nice Ryan Scott jersey I can see in the background there. How did you get your hands on such a nice collector's item?
So I took the club up on its option to travel to Adelaide and get, $100 back, which really helped, a lot of the supporters get over there. And, not the result we were wanting over there, but after the game, the players came over and thanked us travelling fans. And, maybe after 2 seasons of pestering, it got into Ryan's head a bit, but I was able to snag myself a jersey from him.
Scotty. He's we don't play favourites here in the Green Room except Ryan Scott.
Yeah, if there was one jersey I would have wanted. Yeah,
Lockie's jealous. That's why he brings it up.
Yeah, that's the real reason. That's the real reason.
No, but Ben's put in the legwork. He deserves it. How was the Adelaide away trip? Off the pitch, I mean.
Adelaide away was it's always a really good trip. I've got a lot of friends in Adelaide, so I always drag them along as well. But yeah, it's for any travelling fan, it's the best stadium to go to. You're right on top of the pitch. It's, you're so close. There's, a myriad of, amazing pubs close to the ground. I love it. I've been all 3 years, and hopefully next season I'll be there again.
I think I'm in all my years of following the A-League men's, and then there has been a lot. I think there's yet to come across one person who's complained about the Adelaide away trip. But of course, you'll technically be the visiting side this weekend coming up against the Melbourne Victory at AAMI Park, but not really, in name only, let's be honest. Obviously, currently 1-0 down across this in the aggregate scoreline. How much are you looking forward to this game against Victory this Saturday, and how excited are you to put things right and hopefully see the boys turn that back around?
It's getting to be a problem at this stage. I can't concentrate at work. I'm seeing messages from people pinging around my phone and asking about where we're meeting. But it's this game is. It's the biggest in the club's history. The result, there was some questionable refereeing, last night, which just makes it all the more, emotional for us. Obviously, that penalty that didn't get called early in the game. So there's that writing. There's that opening run against Victory. That five games we went undefeated. The 3-2 at Marvel. My first game that I went to live was in Geelong against Victory, a 3-1 win. So it's got a lot of emotion attached to it, this fixture, and meeting on, the biggest stage that this club's ever been on. It's going to be big.
I mean, what's the plan pre-game? Where are the supporters going to be hanging out? What's the pub to hit up for fans that are going to come along?
So the pub we'll be at is our usual stomping grounds pre-game, the Richmond Club Hotel. From about 2 o'clock onwards, we'll be there. They've got a great little beer garden out the back that we always occupy most of the time. The food there's really good. And I believe that they were talking about, I think that there was some special deals going on being a Saturday afternoon. So
nice. Very interesting.
Very tempting, in fact.
Yeah, indeed. Ben, you were talking about your phone. I mean, that's one of the bad things about the sort of multi-leg nature of these semi-finals is, if it was one game and it was over and done, like you kind of just put it to one side, you could forget about it. But you've got all these days to kind of stew over what's going to happen. I mean, you were talking about, your phone pinging. I'm seeing a lot of comments come through on the live stream as well. I'm wondering how many of those phone buzz notifications are coming from the kind of people we're seeing in the chat. Bailey, Angus, Brooklyn, Dylan. There's Lachie as well. There's a lot of people who are very pleased to see you on this program. I'm sure a lot of them are going to be the kind of people you'll be alongside on Saturday afternoon as well.
Yeah. Well, I did word a few people up and say, if you want to come see my face, then feel free. But no, like a lot of those names, they all spring to mind, and they're all amazing friends that I've made through the club, and just getting on their backs about bringing their friends as well, just so we can pack out that bay and make some noise. Yeah.
I mean, you'll be alongside a bunch of those people and more. I mean, hopefully all the Western United fans that will possibly be able to attend this game will be alongside the service crew in bays 14 and 15, the place to get your tickets if you are ordering as a green and black fan. What would it mean to you as a group of fans at the full-time whistle to get this result turned around, beat the rivals, Melbourne Victory? What would it mean for have that full-time whistle go and have Western United booking their spot in the grand final?
It's hard to even begin to kind of understand. There's always that talk online about us, why were they brought into the comp, all this other tripe. And, after a while, I know a lot of us are just sick of hearing it and seeing it. And to get a result like this would, be a big thing to, put, all those City and Victory fans who just go on and on about, our club, no stadium, no fans. It's like, I'm overhearing it. So it'd be great to be able to turn around and go, boo-hoo, sucks to be you. In some slightly stronger language.
I hope that's exactly how you say it.
I mean, it's going to be a huge game. I don't know what your pulse is going to be like during the 90 minutes, maybe even 120 minutes, dare we say it. Nikolai Topor-Stanley said he's more nervous watching than he is actually playing in the games. But it's going to be an absolutely electric atmosphere. We can't wait. Lachie, we're just about out of time here on the Green Room, but we just need to implore people to get your tickets. For bays 14 and 15 is the place to be.
There is literally no other place to be other than Stomping Ground before the game, but during the game there is no other place to be.
Yes. So the name of that pub again for us, Ben?
It's the Richmond Club Hotel, 100 Swan Street.
There we go. That's from 2 p.m. Get there before the game. Hang out with your like-minded fellow supporters. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck on the weekend. And we hope we hear a big chorus of boo-hoo, sucks to be you on the final whistle.
Goodness gracious me.
And we'll see which jersey you nab on full-time. Still very jealous about that Ryan Scott kid. Ben, thank you so much.
That's all good. It's my pleasure.
We're going to sign off here on the Green Room. It's possibly, but we hope it's not our final show of the season, Lachie. We hope we've got one more to come. But that's all from us tonight. If you missed any of the show, you can catch it on the FNR podcast platforms. But from myself, Josh, and Lachie, it is goodbye for now. Big thank you to Simonds Homes for powering the program, as you so eloquently put it earlier, Lachie. And we'll speak to you again soon.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barisha! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Parias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR. Football Nation Radio.